Co-main, Gary Antuanne Russell.
Another good fight.
Absolutely.
Oh, we was rolling last night.
Yeah.
During that Martinez and Carhas fight, we were like, it's a good fight.
Yeah.
Good fight. And he did the same thing with this one. He's like, this is a good fight.
You know, some people echoed a sentiment we shared yesterday that Gary Antuanne reminds him of Shawn Porter a little bit.
Yeah. I got the text from shout out to Mark Ortega.
Yeah.
He texted me while I'm thinking it.
Yeah.
He's like, yo, he kind of looks like you. I was like, damn, I was just thinking
And
that.
I'm driving home and Chicken Talk, God love those guys. They're on until like 3 a.m. Eastern time. And they brought the same comparison. They were like, kind of a little bit of a Shawn Porter flavor to him.
Yeah.
But
he did what we talked about with Mike, using the double jab just to get where he wants to get for his offense. Like he wasn't using it to land it. Shawn, when he would double jab, he would do it to land it, but he was using it to get in range.
Shit, he took some shots.
What's impressive actually is this may not have actually been the best style for him to look impressive against.
I made
long range.
I made the point yesterday. I think Gary Antuanne, his best range is mid.
Right.
I think he's like DeMar DeRozan, thrives in the mid-range. And it was tough because Viktor Postol, I've never seen Viktor Postol in person. He's a lot taller than I thought and has long-ass arms.
And fights
tall. And so Gary Antuanne, it was like, he's good on the long outside, clearly. He's fast hands, jab, all
Moves
that.
his head.
And good on the inside, but it's like, I think in the mid-range, and that's kind of negated when you're going against somebody who can kind of keep you out with those long arms. But
he made adjustments, though.
Absolutely.
He took great job by Gary Antuanne. He took what was there early. Okay, all you giving me is the body? Boom, to the body. Boom, to the body. Boom, and he's patient. Then round 4 and 5, he started to pick it up. And then he started leading with the left hand, getting his head off the line. And then once he made Postol do more of what he wanted to do, that's when you really got to see him score right hooks up top and left hands up top. So put him in against a guy who's not 5'11" and fights like he's 6 feet, he could look even better.
Absolutely.
We would go to the Showtime fights. My dad and I, we would sit they would sit us next to Lou DeBella and shout out to Steven Espinoza, all those guys. And we weren't doing it because we knew they were listening, but we would just be talking during the fight and they'd always lean in. And I didn't really figure it out until Lou's doing something. He says, you got to sit next to the Porters during the fight. Their commentary during the fight is just like you get the fight and you get to listen to what they're commentating the whole fight. And I never really did it for that, but sitting right next to the Gary corner was like you got it all. Yeah. So you talking about the adjustments. Like we're hearing the adjustments in between rounds, and then they're yelling the adjustments during the fight. I mean, like there's soldiers, man. Like
boxing IQ.
Yeah,
that corner is
a
lot of times corners are hyped up. They're just even killed. It wasn't like get out of there.
And there was literally a moment where Gary Jr. is saying something, and then Gary Antonio Russell, who's behind him, he says something, and Gary Jr. literally turned around and goes, "Good call." It was like, yeah, do that.
Right.
And it was like there was no egos. They were just trying to get him the best information.
That's close.
One time I heard Gary did something, and then you heard one of them on the outside. What you supposed to do right there? What you supposed to do right there? I'm like, that's game plan. So he knows what he's supposed to do. I don't need to tell you this adjustment. All I need to make sure you're aware that you didn't do what you're supposed to do. So you're right. Like even killed the whole night. They weren't too hyped up. They weren't not giving him information. He's gonna go a long way because of his corner. He's gonna go a long way because of who he is. He's a Russell. You know what I mean?
Unbelievable athlete. Great to see OG Gary as well in the corner.
Yeah.
Nice to see him out there, and he's obviously offering his instructions as well.
My man need to move his head.
Yeah.
So while I'm watching me, like this was a Shawn Porter weekend. You know, I'm like, he kind of like looks like me.
Yeah.
He's got to move his head coming in. I like to see more of a jab to land more than just the jab to blind you to get in. I would like to see more of a good straight jab with direction to land. I think that if he even gets the jab that he can land from the outside, it sets up more stuff.
Yeah.
Now you don't have to step every time you punch to get inside to land your shots. Now you can land your shots from the outside. You can step around. You cause more dimensions to the fight. Force your fighter to do some different things. You know what I mean? So I talked to Gary this morning hoping that they were going to come on the show today, and they were at the airport. But he said, man, we got some things to work on. I said, absolutely. I said, well, no reason to do it if you got nothing to work on.
Yeah.
He said, you get it. I said, well, absolutely, I get it. I said, you know, the head movement and some other things, but he's coming along. And he said, yeah, we going back to the gym. You know, we perfectionists. Yeah. You know, so we going back to the gym to work on it. You know, so
nothing Gary Antuanne Russell can't do in the ring.
How y'all feel about the stoppage?
Yeah, that had to be.
We had one jackass.
Oh yeah, those are two things I had.
One jackass didn't like it. One of the biggest jackass in boxing, but we ain't gonna put his name out there.
I mean, I get the sense that
you're not talking about me.
No, he's not talking about me.
I didn't agree with it.
Just relax.
Okay,
I
two
feel,
jackass.
Yeah, two jackass.
I might be the third. I might be because
y'all the jackass.
All right.
No. There's about 45 seconds left in the fight. If it meant something to Postol to stay on his feet, and that he's never been stopped.
Yeah.
If that you know. That sucks for Postol because he may have been on the verge of being dropped, but I think he could have made it the final 40, 45 seconds. But then there's also the side of the fight's done. He's not going to land a one-punch knockout shot.
He was taking ass whooping that
in that round, right?
And he got hurt bad earlier in that
Carson
round.
said he got knocked from one side of the ring to the other. That's before the big shot.
Yeah, that tripped me out.
He got hit and and he started to circle the ring, and Gary Antuanne was like, "Oh no. You're not getting away from me," and kind of like
my man
all the way.
And that was before the big shot.
My man closed the distance, and he kept.
Yeah,
I said, "Yo, he just."
Yeah, it was like a cartoon. Like Viktor Postol took off, and Gary.
But we've
was
seen
like,
him hurt like that against Terrence Crawford, dropped twice.
Yeah,
and that was in the 5th or 6th round of their fight. And he made it to the finish line. Yeah. So, you know, and I think the thinking of some viewers is, was that at all about getting this guy to be the first guy to stop Viktor Postol? But I mean, whatever, you know, good.
Yeah, it is what it is. Good thing for Gary Antuanne is, if we mentioned earlier, Josh Taylor, if he goes to 147, there's going to be all the belts. Could very well be available, which is nice for a guy like you mentioned, the two guys that are the future of the division, Brandon Lee, Gary Antuanne Russell. I mean, Jose Ramirez fights next week. I'm sure he would have an interest in a 140-pound title again, but.
Oh, y'all like to see him fight next? Oh, you got
Gary
some
Antuanne?
say. You got like.
Nope. I thought that the stoppage was premature.
Okay.
Like you said, in a lot of ways it made sense, but at the same time it was kind of like, that's Viktor Postol. Like
the ref should know who he's in there with.
Well, I just think from the standpoint of how much was left in the round, the very last round of the fight, and there wasn't anything devastating happening. And I'm not the kind of guy that's like, you got to get knocked down for the fight to be stopped. But at the same time, I need to feel like you're helpless. I didn't see that he was helpless.
That uppercut was deadly though. That took his head back.
Yeah, I didn't see that he was helpless, and I didn't see that Gary was landing anything that was devastating. So I just, you know, and we're on the outside. We can see the clock clearly, you know. So on the inside, you know, in the heat of the battle, the ref felt it was.
Used to love that football, made me smile. I forgot it was there. Then all of a sudden, oh, pies.
You should have done that at the end of the show.
Yeah,
like touchdown. Yeah.
We'll see. I don't know what they'll. I mean, there's matchups at 140. I mean,
shout outs to Viktor Postol.
Of course, yeah. Hopefully, yeah.
Did he leave his family back? His two daughters?
They were, I think, hunkered down in a bunker somewhere as of his presser. Wow. And he's headed right back out there to go
clearly
get his family.
Things much bigger than boxing, so hopefully everyone involved from that side. But
blessings to his family and whole Ukraine, man. Yeah. It's tough times. People really going through stuff in the world, man.
Also seeing the way Gary spoke after the fight, I thought that was really impressive as well.
Before and after how he treated Postol.
Yeah, I've grown being at other camps with the Gary that I grew up with. Yeah. I don't know them apart. They're Gary 1, 2, 3, and it goes on. But growing up with him, he was more mature than me. He was more mature than 80%, 90% of the guys that were on the teams that we fought on at the tournaments. He was very mature, and this Gary showed to be very mature after the fight as well. And no surprise, knowing where he comes from. I'm sitting there just listening to him like,
same guy,
professional, you know what I mean? Solid team.
Raised some great young men for sure. The whole Russell crew.
People have said my dad and I are the greatest, or will be the greatest father and son team in boxing. And
you Floyd Mayweather.
I was thinking the same
I'm like,
thing. But go
Mayweather's,
ahead.
y'all not even close to
Go ahead, get your
Mayweather's.
shit
But
off.
y'all was solid.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, we were solid, and at the same time, there's never been friction publicly between my dad and I. And I think a lot of people are taking that into account when they're saying, you know, father and sons don't work.
Yeah.
And then you can always look at Shawn Porter and Kenny Porter and say, well, they made it work.
He was your trainer from start to finish.
Yeah.
You know, Floyd had Roger for a
Yeah,
spell.
I guess.
Shane Mosley left Jack Mosley at some point. Roy Jones left.
We're the
his
greatest.
dad.
Don't worry about it.
You're the greatest father-son Porter duo.
Don't
in
matter.
boxing
This
history.
is
give it to y'all.
this is the greatest family in boxing.
Oh,
Of course.
okay.
Absolutely. No, I agree.
We haven't
Absolutely.
seen this many, especially brothers,
Yeah.
come along and do it. You know, we've seen the son do it after the father, or
An
you know,
uncle and a son, yeah.
brothers.
They got
you know,
they got
two brothers, but
everything
not-
it takes to be great together.
Absolutely.
They really do,
On
man.
the road to greatness, they have a team, a solid team.
I'm
Yeah.
telling you, you're not talking them up by saying that.
Yeah.
Like they really do have it all.
It's cool to witness up close last night.
Yeah,
And
that
then-
was impressive.
Yeah.
What's up? I'm Showtime Shawn Porter.
I'm Ant. Follow me on IG, Ant with 2 T's. Let's do
All
it.
right,
Let's
here,
do it again. Let's
All
do
right,
it.
just introduce yourself,
Okay.
and then you tell them what to do. I'm Showtime Shawn Porter.
I'm Anthony Brenagh.
Carson Merk. Like, subscribe, comment.
This is the Porter Way.